Jersey, LOC. Let's get it, baby. Yeah, yo, just the basics, man. Give the basis something hot, damn. It's a safe assumption. What's that we the shit.
Welcome back to another episode of Pill Podcast. Life is pain, pain is life. Get used to it. You got Mo on this side, Kareem on the other side.
Yo.
We're talking about today, the artists boycotting the Grammys, 2017 Grammys. We have Drake, we have Justin Bieber, we have Kanye West, and Frank Ocean, all voicing their opinion against showing up and supporting the 2017 Grammys. Kareem, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm kind of mixed. I came into this almost fully disagreeing because of the fact that there's no evidence to say of the reasoning why they're doing it. And just a quick synopsis, all four of them are boycotting it because they said there isn't enough diversity, not only with African-American artists or just minority artists, but actually new artists. So they're saying it's basically and this is for Song of the Year, Album of the Year, those big awards that are given out that night. There isn't any diversity whatsoever as far as new artists or minority artists. So my feelings on it is there's no evidence saying that this is true or saying that this isn't true. All I know is that Mo and I have done research on this, and there's no criteria listed for how the nominees are actually picked. It's basically just a board of people who say, all right, these are the nominees. So there's no criteria. I could not find any criteria that's listed of what it is, such as album sales, chart, where they placed on the charts, how many, what kind of genre. There's nothing listed. Kanye was actually saying this since October. What sparked this, or what I could find, what sparked this is that in October, he said that if Frank Ocean's album was not put on the list as the nominees, he would boycott the Grammys. Now, Frank Ocean's album that he's speaking of did not meet the time frame of the nomination for this year.
Well, I mean, they're saying he didn't submit it at all. So.
Yes, no, that's a side note. But what Kanye is saying is that the album was made in like September, and it passed the cutoff time, September 30th. Something, as far as the time frame, I'm not sure. But what he's saying is that they made a exception before for an artist to get put in. I think the artist was I'm not sure who the artist was. I gotta look it up. But they had made an exception before for an artist, so they're saying, well, why are you not making an exception for his album? But just as Mo just said, the caveat is he didn't submit his albums. Frank Ocean didn't submit his albums. He didn't submit either one. So that's why, once again, I get the protest, but there's not enough evidence for me to say that this is actually happening. And then when you have a situation where the artist that you're fighting for didn't even want to submit his albums for a Grammy, you kind of don't have any argument there.
Well, I feel contrary. I believe there's a big argument, and I believe it's about time that somebody actually did something about it. Yes, Kanye's been talking about this for a while. He's tweeting. But at the same time, Kanye always seems to be at the forefront of a lot of stuff. For all his faults, Kanye seems to always move the needle. Always seems to be at the forefront of a lot of movements especially when it comes to artists speaking up about issues that concern artists. Bieber and Drake feel that the Grammys are out of touch. They feel that they're out of touch with the young artists. They're not relevant to today as far as young artists are concerned. I guess the Grammys, I guess you can say it's not an old boys club, but you got to put your time in, I guess. If you look at the history of the Grammys as far as who's won, especially those big categories Kareem talked about, as far as album of the year, artist of the year, it's usually some well-established artist that's been basically in the game for a while, right? But we all know that when it comes to everyday listening to music, who do you hear on the radio? You know,
and I'm sorry, just to go back real quick, Mo. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you keep making your point. It was Lady Gaga that they wanted to perform in the Grammys in 2010, so they made an exception and brought her album in, even though she didn't submit it in time. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, Gaga, no doubt. When you turn the radio on, who you hear on the radio? You hear majority what's hot right now, right? You hear a lot of, especially you hear a lot of young artists that are hot right now, and they're in rotation every day. You turn to two stations, you turn to two popular stations in any genre, you might hear the same artist song on each station at different points of the song, right? That's how music is. And if we're going to talk about year to year with these Grammys, it's not like, okay, we're going to give you a lifetime achievement award. We're not talking about that. We're talking about that year in music, who was hot. And if you talk about that year in music, who was hot, it begs to, I see what these guys are saying. Like, okay, well, who was really hot this year? In 2016, who was really hot? And I'm going to give you the artist right now who nominated. Right now, you have Adele for 25 for this year. Beyonce, Lemonade. Bieber, his album's called Purpose. Drake, Reviews. And there's some guy named Sturgill Simpson, Sailor's Guide to Earth. I'm pretty sure he's a good artist. This year, Drake, Beyonce, Bieber, mega artists, right? Now, Drake's been nominated.
Too, bro. Adele.
Well, I mean, for the argument, of course, Adele. You know, can't forget Adele. But I mean, for the argument here, Drake has been nominated 27 times in the past and only won one Grammy. That's bananas. This is Drake we're talking about.
And that Grammy, if I'm not mistaken, I look up the history. That Grammy was for his first album, correct?
I believe so. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to look it up.
And what was it for? It was an album of the year.
No, it wasn't album of the year. Bieber is not at all. Bieber has been nominated prior to this year 3 times. 3 times. This is Justin Bieber.
The man with the most freaking followers on.
Right? So some may say, like Kareem may be saying, like, hey, you know, stop crying. But at the same time, it's like, yo, these guys have a point. It may be personal because these guys have a bad record when it comes to the Grammys. Let's talk about Kanye. We talked about Frank Ocean. Talk about Kanye West. This dude has been nominated for Album of the Year, right? 05, College Dropout. Mega album. 06, Late Registration. Great album. 08, Graduation. And he's lost. All time, this is three out of 4 years he's been nominated for Album of the Year. He lost to Ray Charles in 05. It's Ray Charles, you know what I'm saying, right?
Right.
06, U2. U2. Come on, you know, another, right? 08, Herbie Hancock. Hey, at least he's been beaten by, like, gods of music, right? So, but at the same time, it's like, we're talking about that particular year and what, I guess, hindsight is always 20/20, right? I mean, Prince lost to Lionel Richie, Purple Rain. You're looking back on it, like, how did that happen? Purple Rain is probably one of the most iconic albums in this half a century, right? Yeah, so it's like, but I don't know. These guys have a gripe, man. They have a legitimate argument, and I would hope that other artists speak up against what's been happening as far as what the Grammys mean. Oscars so white, Grammys, I don't know what the hashtag is going to be with that one, but I think it needs to be brought up more and it needs to be spoken about.
And Mo, I'm sorry. I'm looking here, bro. Where did Drake win this Grammy? He didn't win it. He may have won it in the hip hop category, but he didn't win it in this large category. I know. Well,
no, see, that's the thing. It's not and that's the thing. It's not the large category. I think it was a hip hop category. And
that's the thing. That's what they're saying. They're not hip hop. They're not complaining. too much, at least. They're not really. They're complaining about the Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Record of the Year categories, where they're saying that it's only represented by those same old people every year. But once again, they kind of keep it where it's not that it's they have these off years, or like this year where who's that last guy you said? And I'm not saying that I listen to a lot of music, but there's some artists who are large artists that I don't listen to. That last guy you said for this year, I'm like
Sturgill Simpson.
Sturgeon Simpson. I don't know who that is. So they may throw an artist like that in there and say, well, see, we threw him in there and he didn't have da 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 blah blah. But it's like, you know, I don't know. It's weird. What do you think as far as possibly if they would have worded their argument a little better, maybe saying that the hip hop R&B category gets left out sometimes? Because I honestly, looking at it, I see more of a argument for that recently than ethnicity and, you know, new or old. I see that argument more than, you know, but once again, I know they'll throw in, well, what about Beyonce and Rihanna? But I don't, once again, Beyonce and Rihanna don't count, man. They're part of the mega elite. So they're going to be nominated. If Beyonce drops a quote unquote mixtape today, she'll be nominated in 2019.
Well, we need those mega elites. Well, we need, but they need these mega elites to speak up more. Because at the end of the day, it's almost like you see it happening at your job every day, right? That guy who you came in the job with him together, and you know it's them against the upper management, right? The employee against the management. The management, you know, always ripping on the employees. Employees always, you know, griping about the management. All of a sudden, time goes by, that same guy becomes upper management. And he almost suddenly overnight forgets that he was an employee once, you know. So it's like he takes on that new role of, you know, ripping on the employees. You know, he's become the upper management now. So it's like, I don't want these artists to like get to that upper echelon and forget where they came from. And I think some of these artists who are on the upper echelon of artists need to speak up against what's happening with the Grammys, because you don't want the Grammys to become irrelevant. They're like, it's almost like Democrats right now, right? With the election that's happening, you know, the Democrats are being looked at as the mega elite. You know, you want to call it, if you want to call it white privilege, or, you know, just ignoring middle America. And they get blindsided. How could this happen? Because you were not paying attention to what was happening in this country, the pulse of the nation, right? The same thing could happen to the Grammys. If you're not paying attention to what's happening with the pulse of music, the music industry, and what's happening you're going to lose touch, and you're going to become irrelevant. Not irrelevant, but people are not going to tune in anymore.
You know what the problem is, though, with that? Is that it's not like the Oscars where the industry is fucked up. That's the difference. Like the Oscars, the whole industry was fucked up in being racist, and it was known, and they got ousted. You know what I mean? The whole industry was fucked up. With the Grammys, it's not the industry, because when you break down to each category, we had that discussion. I looked it up and did the shit. So they're on point for the most part. You know what I mean? It's just this one category. When you watch the Grammys, you know, I don't really watch the Grammys much the past few years because they have been really slipping on the hip hop category. And so I kind of stopped watching it. But they have epic performances on those stages for the Grammys every year. So I don't see the Grammys, even if this gets ignored completely, I don't see the Grammys going anywhere, because they do an outstanding job when it's broken down for each category. They do a really good job. So I don't see them going anywhere.
I disagree. It's window dressing. It looks nice. Throw a couple guys on stage. Look, we got hip hop artists. We got Kendrick perform a great performance, right? That was epic, right? Him and, you know, on stage, it was crazy. Beyonce on stage, that was a crazy performance, right? And look, and it's like, you have to listen, they're gonna have to do something about it. I mean, Yeah, Frank Ocean, his point is it's not relevant to young black artists. They
Yeah,
just
but
don't
Mo,
care.
once again,
okay.
and I know he's part of it. I know he's part of it, but I don't want to hear his mouth because he did not submit his albums. So that's what I'm saying. Like I can't.
I understand that.
I can't. You don't even have. You had a chance. All he had to do was submit the albums. That's all he had to do. He could have submitted the albums. They would, maybe if they would have got knocked down, then I would hear everything he's saying. But when you got an artist who, once again, I have not listened to the album, but I've heard from many men and women, okay, men and women who are like pure, a lot of them pure hip hop artists who have listened to his music and was like, yo, this album is crazy. When you have an album like that and you decide that because you want to boycott, you did not submit your album, unfortunately, your voice is meaningless to me. Justin Bieber, to me, I applaud him. He's part of the elite. Now, like you said, he seems like maybe he got jerked a couple times, but he's part of the elite. Kanye West. I mean, Kanye West is Kanye West. Frank Ocean, bro.
Yo, his album, the Orange album, it was, I think, 06. He lost to Mumford and Sons. Now listen, bruh.
But he was
again, like you're saying, we're black, right? We're black. We listen to certain music, right?
No, was he nominated that year for that Orange?
Yeah, he was. His album was, it was.
Okay.
So he's lost before. So he has a voice here, right? So what I'm saying is, we listen to certain music, and yeah, we may be a little jaded when it comes to turning our radio on as far as our stations are concerned. And when we listen to, we do recognize the fact there is country music out there. There is rock out there. There is classical music out there. There are all types of genres out there. So you're competing against all these genres. And I understand that you have to take that into consideration. But like you said in the beginning, how the hell do they vote for this shit, man? I'm sorry for cursing, but can we have some transparency, please? Can we at least have some type of breakdown on how you voted for these artists? You
just mentioned it just now. And I just went through it just now. There's a lot of genres and that's why I said, I think by attacking this from a genre perspective, it's a little bit easier of a target. Because there's a lot of genres that just aren't getting nominated. There's a lot of genres missing. Country music, there was only like 2 or 3 in there. You know what I mean? That are winning these things. You had Taylor Swift, who I don't give a shit what anybody says, she's not a country music artist. She's not. And even country music artists, the whole country music in general said, you're not a country music artist. They just now started accepting her back as a country music artist. But so, I mean, I think attacking this from a genre perspective first, but just like you said, all in all, there needs to be more transparency. Because I don't know how this shit is nominated. I don't know. I can't open up something and say, this is what we're looking for you to win a Grammy. This is what we're looking for. So this way, if they say album sales, and I know that my album was the 15th best as far as album sales, I know that maybe I'm not gonna have a chance, but maybe the other categories I excelled in, so I have a chance. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. There's nothing. And you guys that are watching this video, if you have a link or something that shows us what the criteria is, the specific criteria that they are looking for a Grammy winner, please put it in the comments. Let us know.
It's real vague. It's real vague. If you Google it, right, it's real vague. Like, you know, a couple guys in the room, listen to the music, and, you know, it's objectionable. So, it's, you know, kind of just, you know, it's like, what are you really saying? I mean, okay. I understand that it can't be just album sales. Because like you said, and like I said, you know, you have who's buying classical music. I mean, so somebody is. But as far as record sales, it's not moving the needle, right? But you have some great classical musical artists, right, who are very talented and skilled in their, you know, instruments or whatever they're doing in their genre. But it's like, so it has to be other criteria to come up with these big awards. Now, but I'm also saying that you have to speak up. because that's how you get invited to the dance, right? If you sit quietly and wait for your turn, you're never, especially us as Black people, we understand that. We sit back and just chill and, well, they know it's wrong. They know we shouldn't be slaves, or they know it's only right that we be treated just like they are. We wait too long, it's never gonna happen, right? So you gotta speak up, man. You need some reputable artists to speak up to actually be included in this whole thing.
And I hate to harp on this one thing. The Kanye West / Frank Ocean thing, this is what happens when you enter into an argument with too many holes in your argument. That's what my whole point is. You can't enter in and say, Frank Ocean should be nominated for da-da-da-da, but then, yo, Frank, don't you think so? Well, you know, I didn't even put my albums up for nomination. First album I nominated, and I lost to Mumford & Sons. So what? That's like you running in one race and not winning, or not, I can't even say a race because that's based off of time. That's like you entering into one beauty pageant, coming in third place, and then never going into the beauty pageant, but complaining about the beauty pageant. You can't do that. You gotta have a valid argument. So he should have just put in his albums and then said, listen, I'm not even getting nominated. And I came out with a dope album this year. So that's why I said, you gotta look at the argument and bring in points that can't be sliced to pieces, because that one can be sliced to pieces.
Then what about your boy? What about your boy Ryan Leslie? How do you feel about him?
What about him?
Because he pretty much like bought the whole system himself, didn't he? Like,
what about
does
him?
he like
what
far as just up in? We mean what about him?
What? No. How do I? What do you mean?
Because I mean, you're saying that Frank Ocean should at least submit. By him not submitting his album for consideration, he has no argument here, right?
Right, because
so
there's no charity.
He took his ball and went home. Like, you know what? I'm not playing with y'all no more.
Exactly. Right.
I can argue this. Didn't Ryan Leslie kind of do the same thing in the industry as far as his music is concerned? Or am I bugging? Is that too far?
I mean, I'd have to look into it, but Ryan Leslie is a different story. Ryan Leslie kind of thinks what he is, and he has ousted himself from the music industry. You know, so when you have an album that comes out that you say that I have to sign up for your website, follow you, and do XYZ in order for me to even hear the album in this day and age, you want your own fan base, and that's it. That's all you want. For you to not even let a song out for people to hear and say, no, you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to, he has like a cult following. His followers are like ultra loyal to him because they jump through hoops of fire to hear his music. So I don't think that he wants the recognition. I think he's good making the amount of money he's making, working on the back end, because he has his hands in a lot of music. But I think he was just like, you know what? I don't like the way the industry, because people don't realize Lady Gaga did the same thing. She distanced herself from the music industry because she didn't like what it was doing to her. So, I mean, these artists do that, but Ryan Leslie is a little bit different because I think he kind of just pulled himself out. Like, I don't even care about the recognition of the Grammys and all that stuff like that, which is perfectly fine. If Frank Ocean is saying, I don't care, which I thought I read, like, not a quote or a statement from him where he was like, you know, I don't really care about the recognition, you know, with the Grammys and other stuff like that. I don't really need it. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel, but you can't play both sides.
Well, that's what he's saying, though. I mean, it's Yeezy's the one, like, you know,
right?
Yo,
Exactly.
Yo, if my nigga Frank don't get on here, I'm not here.
Frank is looking at him like, bro, I don't want to be. I don't want to be in. That's how I feel is what's happening. I feel like Kanye is like, yo, if my boy don't get in, and his boy is like, bro, I don't want to be in. I'm good on that. Like, you don't have to fight for me. I'm good. I didn't submit them purposely. That's what I feel like is happening. He's like, I purposely didn't submit this stuff because I don't care. Like, I don't care to be, you know, I tried it once, tried to be part of the industry once, and they wasn't feeling me. So I'm kind of good with my fan base, winning the awards that I win, submitting for what I want to submit, give me the money, do what I'm doing, and I'm good. And I feel like that's what Frank Ocean's doing. But Kanye is trying to make his point based off of Frank Ocean. I'm not saying it's not happening more. I'm not saying that these guys don't have a valid point, but you know, I'm also saying that
You are
to
saying
me,
that.
huh?
You are saying that.
What I'm saying is that, and this is how these huge, you know, Illuminati-esque freaking things work, where it's like they put out just enough for you to not have an argument, and they do their own thing. To me, the only thing is that, once again, if I was approaching it, what I would say was that, listen, Grammys, I want more transparency, and I want to know what criteria needs to be, you know, what criteria you're looking for in order for me to get nominated and win a Grammy. That's the argument that I would happening. But to make a broad statement like that,
it's like Dorothy and, you know, everybody getting to the Wizard of Oz, getting to the castle, and like, you know, trying to see the wizard, and you come to find out it's a little short dude that's behind this big machine. It's like,
exactly.
What the hell? We went through the forest and the hell of high water to get here.
Right, this is what I'm going for.
Sacrifice all this to get here. What?
Right.
So it's almost they're seen behind the curtain, and they don't like what they see, or they want to see behind the curtain, but the industry is like, nah, can't do that.
I think that's what it is. No, I think that's what it is. I think they've seen. I mean, I think they want to see, and the industry is like, no, you don't need to know that. I think that's what it is. I think it's like, we have our good old boys back here making all, you know, pulling all the strings, and that's all you need to do. You go try to sell 1 million albums, and then we'll worry about that. Don't worry about how we pick it. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. I think it's just that they're just like, no, you don't need to know that. Let us worry about that. You guys just make the music. Shut up and just make music. I honestly think that's what it is. Kind of like,
you know,
the NFL, the NBA, you know, Major League Baseball. I think that's what it is. The owners are up here in the castle, and the players, when the players say, well, I want to know, you know, how my contract is broken down, exactly this and that, blah, 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 blah. The owners are like, bro, just go out there and hit the fucking ball. You don't need to know all that, bro. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, good point. I think it's time for something new. And we touched on it in the last show. It's right for shows like, or channels like the BET Hip Hop Awards to revamp that whole thing, man, and just bring it down and start it back, bring it down and build it back up into something that's gonna be more reputable, you know?
And you know what it is, Mo? It's just a situation where they're fighting for inclusion. And, you know, that's a way deeper statement, and I break that down on another thing. But you're not content enough with, you know, with satisfying your peers. You want to be part of this mega elite. You know what I mean? They're not content with, Kanye's not content with winning being the greatest hip hop artist. He wants to be the best overall artist.
Can't blame him.
Justin Bieber's not. No, I don't blame him. But you got to understand, bro, that's not how this shit works sometimes, man. And that's what I say all the time, Mo. Some people don't want some other people included in their shit, bro. And sometimes you either have to see it what it is and boycott the shit out of it, or, you know what I mean, when you get up there to accept that hip hop award, you need to make sure you say something. You need to go there, and when you get the hip hop award, make sure to say, tired of winning these hip hop awards. Okay, I'm never in here. And Kanye is one to do it. That's why I'm saying I don't think he should boycott it. I think he should go, because he's a vocal person. You boycotting it and not going is not helping, because you will be ignored. The Grammys will just ignore you. If you go, he's up for a hip hop award. Go there, get up on stage and say, I'm tired of just winning these hip hop awards. I've dominated the hip hop category. I'm up there with the rest of these stars. We need to have new artists and black artists nominate, and whatever he wants to say. Go up there and be vocal. Don't stand on the outside.
Well,
that's how I feel about it.
Well, that news, we're gonna leave it right there. I mean, this news of them boycotting just came out days ago. This is the reason why we're doing this show.
Yep. We'll see where it goes.
we'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens when the Grammys come on. Think back to when, in what was it, the early 90s, when all the hip hop artists boycotted the Grammys. And I think didn't Will Smith won? It was the first year because there wasn't a hip hop category, right? And Will Smith
I think
won
they
that
only
year.
had one or some shit.
There's only one award or something, right? And Will Smith won that year. Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince won. But they boycotted it.
Yep.
You know, and I'm pretty sure the argument was made then at the same time, like nobody cares about you.
Right.
Huh?
It changed things.
It changed things. So
immediately.
So I guess we'll see where this goes, and maybe other artists who do show up, if these guys don't show up, maybe other guys who, when they accept their award, maybe they may say something.
See, to me,
show solidarity.
And real quick, that's what my problem is. That's who needs to say something. The guys that go up on stage. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be the guy who's not winning. It needs to be the guy who is winning, because he has the stage. But I'm not telling them what to do. But me, that's what I would do. I'm not going. I'm going. You know what I mean? I'm going to the awards because I have a chance to have a platform because I'm nominated. But
it's gonna be interesting to see, especially because you have Bieber and Drake nominated for Album of the Year.
Yeah.
Now, I personally feel Adele's gonna win, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm sorry, bro. In this case, bro, that Hello shit dominated, bro. Come on, bro. There was memes. No. Hello, anything Hello related is going to win.
When you type in hello and get you to Adele, the first name that comes first thing, not a greeting.
Not greeting. Greeting.
Adele.
Guys, no, Adele. Adele comes up. You put in hello.
I mean, but no matter, and Beyonce, Lemonade was huge, but again, Grammy, it's like, it's huge to us in pop culture, but when the Grammys are like, sorry.
Right, exactly.
You're not that big.
Right. You did well, but hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. But hello.
All right, man. Great show, man. Next time, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Pain is life, life is pain, get used to it.
Hey yo, the more things change, they stay the same. Don't get caught up, to stay in your lane. When you're lost in the fame, and it starts to rain, hold your head up, it's part